Have you ever had a leader that you support, either because they're a direct report of yours or you're in HR and they're a leader that you're helping? And you see that there's some skill or capacity that if they developed would make them so much more effective, and you're not seeming to get through to them about it? If so, today's learning snack is for you. I'm Joe Ilfeld, CEO and founder of Insight to Leadership, and I find that there are often two big things that come up when you're talking with leaders about how they need to develop and change. And unless you address these two things directly, you're not going to see the results you want to see. The first thing is giving people some reassurance that they're not going to go from one extreme to the next. I was talking about this recently with a colleague, and I was saying that sometimes I do see with people, they get feedback in their early 20s that they aren't talking enough in meetings, and suddenly you can't shut them up in meetings. And in their 30s and 40s, they're then getting the feedback that you're talking too much and you're taking up too much airtime in meetings. So that can happen. But the truth is, for the most of us, once you hit your 30s, 40s, 50s, and beyond, when you get feedback, it's really unlikely that you're going to swing from one side of the spectrum to the other side of the spectrum. So if you're someone that needs to have more direct conversations with people, it's unlikely you're going to go from not having those direct conversations to just being harsh and having brutal conversations with people. That's not really how change works. What happens is you sort of move a little bit on the spectrum. So if you need to have more direct conversations, you're moving a little bit more towards that. If you're too blunt and aggressive in your conversations, you're moving a little bit more towards the middle. You're not going to be too sappy and unclear and not communicating what you need to be. So I find that reassurance for people in telling them they're not going to suddenly be the extreme that they want to avoid does give them a little bit more freedom to play and experiment with new behaviors. The second thing that's really important is to help them understand what they're getting out of their current behavior, how it's serving them. Oftentimes, we're so busy talking to them about how if you were more direct with your employees, if you could have these conversations with them, it would help retention, it would help develop them. We can give them all the reasons for them to change, but we're not finding out why are the reasons that they are the way they are, that they've stayed the way they are. Maybe the reasons they've stayed the way they are is they feel like they get more loyalty from employees. They build up more trust with employees when they're not having those conversations. People tell them more and confide in them more than they would if they felt like they were giving them harsh feedback. So there's some reason that they're holding on to these old habits. And until you mine that with them and help them understand how these habits feel like they're benefiting them, they're not going to be able to lean into change. Because the reality is, the best changes come when you can honor the both and. You can honor these new things that you want to do, developing and retaining people by giving them really crucial performance feedback, as well as building trust, supporting them, and encouraging them when they need it. And until you can honor that both and, it's going to feel like a choice between this set of goods or this set of goods. And what we really want when we're developing leaders is to have them have both of these, but in balance. So it's important to emphasize with the people that you are trying to develop how they can continue to honor the values that are important to them while bringing in these new values that will also grow their skill set and grow their leadership in the long term. And of course, if you need any help doing that, finding an excellent executive coach, I know several I could refer you to, is one way to do that. So I hope this learning snack was helpful to you, and have a great day.